All right, so everyone preheat your ovens to 400 degrees. And then also, if you don't already, just have a baking sheet ready. You can do foil, I have parchment on mine, whatever you guys have on hand. Just have both of those things ready, and then we will get into our first step. Once everyone has that done, just shoot me a thumbs up, and then we can move on to our first step of the recipe.
You said 400 degrees, right?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, is anyone else still working on that, or are we ready to get started? I see a bunch of thumbs up. Okay, perfect. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna cut our jalapenos. And again, if you guys don't like spicy, you can use the little mini bell peppers that they sell as well. Those will work just as well. Or if you really do like spice, you can even leave the seeds in the jalapenos, but it's whatever you guys want. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna cut each pepper in half lengthwise. So you can leave the stem on, or you can take it off, whatever you want. I always try and cut through it so that you can see it on each piece. But you definitely do not have to do that. So we've done a lengthwise cut before. You're just going to hold your pepper in between your fingers, and you're going to slide the knife in between and slice all the way down. So that way you have your two halves of your peppers. Right? So we're just going to do that to all 5 of our peppers. So again, we're going to hold it in between our fingers, slice down the middle lengthwise, making sure we get an even cut. And then we have all of our insides right there. More. Perfect, just like that. So once everyone has all their peppers sliced, give me a thumbs up, and then we will start removing the insides. Everyone looks like they're doing a really good job so far. This is probably the hardest part of the recipe. And then after that, it'll be nice and easy. Perfect. Ariel, I see you. Caitlin, good job. And take your time with this too. We're in no rush. We want to make sure we keep our fingers safe. All right, Gianni. Flow's still working. And then the one thing I want to mention too, if you guys are using jalapenos, just be careful. After touching them, once we're done touching them and taking all the stuff from the insides out, we probably just wash our hands down really quick, because the seeds there's some spice in there. So if you touch your face, or if you end up getting something in your eye, it's going to burn a little bit. So we don't want that to happen. So once we're done, just be careful what you touch, and we will give our hands a wash once we're done cleaning all of these out. Okay. All right, it looks like everyone is all set. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the insides of our peppers out while leaving the outside whole. So you can take I'm using like this little teaspoon kind of thing here. You can just use whatever small spoon you have, and you're kind of just going to take your spoon and like dig it into all this white part and the seeds, and just kind of scoop around it, and then it'll just come right out just like that. So then once you're done, you're left with a complete hollow inside of your pepper like that. And that's what we're going to stuff right in there. So you just want to take all the little white parts like this and your seeds out. So again, you're just going to kind of punch your spoon in go around and dig. And just get it all out there. And like I said, if you do like the flavor of the spice from the jalapenos, you can leave some of that inside because that is where most of the spice lies. But of course, if you don't, take it out. Plus, we want to have as much space to put our filling in as possible. They don't have to be perfect. As long as you have most of it out, then you guys are all good. Some of them are very easy to get out, and then other ones you have to put a little bit of elbow grease into it, but for the most part, it's not that bad. Right. How's everyone doing? Looks like we're all hard at work. These are perfect for today too, because they're a very popular like game day recipe. So if anyone's watching any football later, this is a perfect snack to have for a football game. All right, so once you have all of the insides of your peppers out, you're just gonna want to discard all of that stuff that we took out. We can throw that out. Everyone's doing a really good job. I see some thumbs up already. That's great. And remember, make sure you just wash your hands off too. Caitlin, I see your thumbs up. We got thumbs up from Johnny, Ariel. Lo, how you guys doing? Are you all ready? Thumbs up, or you still need more time? Good, perfect. Okay, so now we're going to start to work on our filling. So we can put our peppers to the side for just a second. We are going to mix up our filling. So we're going to take a small bowl, and to that, we are going to, hold on, let me just admit this person. Okay, actually, wait, we're going to slice the scallion first. So we're going to take our one scallion. Just going to slice that up quick first, and then we'll do everything in the bowl. So take your one scallion, and then we're just going to cut that into small pieces. The way that we've usually done it before, just back and forth, just these little size pieces here that we get. That's perfect. And if you really like the flavor of scallion, you can always add more. You can use the whole thing too, so you can go all the way down to the bottom. And I know I've said this in my classes before when we've used scallions, but one of my favorite tricks is to regrow them in the fridge. You would need a lot, you would definitely need a bigger piece than this at the bottom, more of the white, probably about this size. And then if you just stick them in water in the fridge, and they'll start to regrow from themselves. So once you have a good bunch of scallions, you can continue to have those for a little bit in your fridge. All right, so once your scallion is done, just put it in your small bowl. And then Caitlin, I see your thumbs up. Ariel, I see you. And for anyone who just entered, so far, we have cut our peppers in half. We removed the insides and we just started working on our filling. So no one missed too much. We just sliced our scallion and we added it into the bowl. That's all we've done so far. And we just made sure that our ovens are preheated to 400 degrees. All right. Are we all good to move on to the next step? Perfect. Okay. So now we're going to add the rest of the filling ingredients into our bowl. So we are going to first do 4 ounces of cream cheese. If you have a block like me, that's just going to be half of the block. And I think the tubs too are 8 ounces as well. If you have a little if you have a container of it, so that would just be half of that container as well. So I'm just going to unwrap this. And the reason we had this sitting out first was that just so that it's softer and it's easier to mix around. The same way that we would soften butter for a baking recipe, we want this to be easy to use so that we can mix it up without having too much effort. So I'm just going to slice it in half. And then I'm just going to take that half. And then we're just going to add that into the same bowl that our scallions are in. Just like that. And then once you have your cream cheese added, just give me a thumbs up and we will continue to add everything else. I see 1, 2. Take the rest of this. All right. So the next thing we are going to add is 4 ounces of shredded cheese. Caitlin, I see you. Perfect. So 4 ounces is going to be around half a cup. So if you want to use a measurement, you can grab a half cup. And we're just going to dump that right in as well. This is something where the mix-ins don't have to be extremely perfect. As long as you like the way it tastes, that's all that matters. All right. Perfect. Everyone looks like they're doing really good. And then once you have your cheese added again, just thumbs up and we will add our last ingredient before we mix together. Perfect. I see Caitlin. I see Ariel. Gianni, perfect. Well, we're all good. All right. So now the last thing we're gonna add is our half teaspoon of salt. I just like to add a little pinch. That's pretty much the same thing. But if you want to use a measuring spoon, of course, that is totally fine as well. Just add a little teaspoon of salt. And then we are going to mix this together until it all looks like one combined mixture. If you guys have, I like to use a little spatula just because I find it's a little bit easier to get everything together. Something like this that you might use for a baking recipe. But if you don't, that's totally fine. A small spoon will do as well. But the spatula I like because you can kind of smush, which is good for the cream cheese. So I just kind of like to smush and scoop. I found when I tested this that was an easy way to get everything to mix. The smush and scoop. And you can still do that with a spoon too as well. So you can still use the exact same technique here. I'm just smushing it down and then scooping around and bringing it back up. And that's getting all of that shredded cheese and those scallions mixed in. And we'll know it's fully mixed when you can pretty much see scallions and shredded cheese in every little area. So then that way we know we have one combined mixture. And with the cream cheese being soft, this is super, super easy. So mine is pretty much all together. I'm just going to do a few more smush and scoops. So yeah, this is what you want it to look like at the end. It looks like you see all the little cheese in there. You see the specks of green from the scallions. So that is perfect. So once you have that all done, we'll get a thumbs up and we will start working on our crescent rolls. Caitlin, awesome. Gianni, awesome. I hope everyone's having a lot of fun making this recipe. They turn out to be very cute at the end. Feel free to snack on whatever gets on your fingers. That's the best part. And this would, if there's extra too, this would probably be very good on a bagel to have too. On a toasted bagel. All right, how's everyone doing? Okay. Awesome. All right, so we just have one more step before we can start making our mummies. All right. Ariel, you good? Is your mixture all done? Perfect. Okay. So now we're going to go into our crescent roll doughs. So these usually come in some sort of package like this. It's a little cylinder. So there should be instructions on there, but usually they're all the same. So we can just go through them together. So we're going to peel off the outside layer first. So just rip that wrapper right off. And then mine also has a second layer, this white layer here, and it's showing me to peel it right here. So I'm going to take this and peel that off as well. So then that's revealing the brown underneath. So once you have your brown layer, you'll see there's kind of a line that follows the whole cylinder. And if you look close, you'll see a break. You'll see like a line where both the pieces of fabric comes together, and you're going to want to dip a spoon in there. You're just going to kind of want to punch it in. I usually like to take a spoon like this and have my thumb behind the back of the spoon for the force. So you just take the spoon and you put it right on the corner like that. And it just pops open. So once that pops, you can just open it like this. And I think we're probably only going to need half of a container. So does everyone have their crescent rolls out of the can? Yeah, okay. So we're going to take half. Mine just separated in half. If not, you can just cut it. So we're just going to unravel it like this. And we're going to see that it's cut into right here. I could rip it into two rectangles, and then there's two triangles here. All we're going to want to do is separate the rectangles. We don't want to separate those rectangles into the triangles. So where you have this break here that would make it two triangles, just want to quickly push those together and just pat it down so it doesn't break apart. Just like that. So then you have more of a cohesive rectangle, just like that. Once you have your rectangles all together, give me a thumbs up and we will start making our slices. I see 2. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to make little strings from this. So you can use a pizza cutter if you guys have one. That'll make it a little bit fun, but if you don't, you can use a knife as well. I'm going to demonstrate with both. So we're going to try to make around 10 strips from each. So if you're using a pizza cutter, you can just go like that. And then you have one strip. I like to make them a little bit different in thickness so that when we wrap our mummies, we have different textures going on, different patterns. But you guys cut them however you'd like. So I'm going to do one with the pizza cutter and then the other one with a knife. So you can just make them as thick or as thin as you'd like, because these will stretch too when we wrap. So we can use as many of them as we get. All right. So if you're using a pizza cutter, you can just roll right like that. And then if you are using a knife, also very simple. You're just going to take your knife, decide how thick you want it, and just cut right like that. If it sticks, just be very careful removing it from the knife. Same thing with the pizza cutter, since that has a blade on it as well. But just cut down and then add your strip to your pile. So as you can see, I have some strips that are a little bit thicker, some strips that are a little bit thinner, just to give the mummies some texture and some difference from each other. And since we are only using half of the crescent dough, you guys can always just use the other half to make them into crescents, or if you have another recipe that uses it, that's perfect. So we have a whole bunch of different strands of all shapes and sizes, which is perfect. Once you have all your strands ready, give me a thumbs up and we will start stuffing our peppers. Everyone's doing a very good job. All right, are we all ready to stuff? Or do we need more time to make some strips? Totally fine if we do, we will wait. All right, I think Ariel's still working, so we'll just wait for her to get all set and then we will get ahead and stuff. Perfect, okay. So now we're going to stuff each pepper with our mixture that we made. So I would have your baking sheet just nearby, so that way once you stuff the pepper, you can just put them on the baking sheet. So you're gonna take each pepper half and you're filling. I'm gonna use the same spatula that I mixed. And you just take a good spoonful and you're just gonna press it into the pepper and spread it all throughout, just like that. So a spatula would be really good for this too, but again, this back of a spoon is just as useful. So you're gonna make it flat and you're gonna stuff all the inside. So that's what you want your finished pepper to look like. So you have the stuffing flush and flat with the remainder of the pepper. So that whole thing is filled. So once you have each pepper stuffed like this, you're just going to add it over to your baking sheet and you'll just keep stuffing until you've done all 10 of our halves. So again, just push it in and spread it down. Want to make sure we fill every inch of the pepper. Just like that. And if you wanted to make these for a party, or like I said, these are really good for like game day. So this would be good, like perfect for like a Super Bowl appetizer. You could just double the recipe, and then that way you would use all of the crescent dough as well. So Teresa, I'm just seeing your message. So the video, you can't save the video from Zoom, but everyone will get a follow-up email from the class, and that will have the link to the recording. So you guys can get access to that and then watch it back as well. Everyone's doing a great job. Keep it up. And I hope everyone's having fun with this. This is a nice, fun, simple recipe. Right. And I'm nearing my last pepper. I still have a little bit of filling left, so like I said, you could even do a bagel with this. If you have more peppers lying around, you could obviously just use more peppers. I think I'm gonna try and stuff it into these since I only have a little bit left. All right, perfect. Great job, everyone. How's everyone doing? Let's see those peppers. Great, I see some thumbs up. Oh, that looks awesome, Caitlin. All right, everyone's all set. So now we are going to mummify our peppers. So from our baking sheet right here, you're going to grab one of your peppers, and then you can wrap these however you want. So you can have them have a lot of wrapping, have a little bit of wrapping. The one thing that you do want to make sure is that you just leave an area towards the middle open with no dough on it. And that's where your eyes will go once they come out of the oven. So basically you're just going to take one piece of your dough here and just wrap it. I like to crisscross. You can go up and down until it's fully wrapped around it. I usually will do one towards the bottom and one towards the top. And once you get to the end, if you just stick the dough right onto itself, it should stay. So I'm going to do my top piece now. And again, wrap these however you want. So this is where you can get as creative as you'd like and have as much fun as you want and to make them look like your mummies. So here, I lift this part open over here, so my eyes will go there once they come out. So you just want to make sure you have some area that's completely open with no dough on it, so that you can stick those eyes in after they've baked. And you can stretch these too. Sometimes they'll break, but that's okay. Again, I'm just going to keep doing one towards the top and one towards the bottom, I think. so that each pepper gets about 2 pieces of dough, just like that. And if you run out of dough and you need more, you can always use that other half of crescent dough that we still have left over. If you like putting a lot of strips on them, that's totally fine. You can always use more. Can't wait to see what everyone's mummies look like after class. If you see any of the areas that have the triangle that cut in it from the when it was triangles, you can always just push that together. If it breaks, you can always just use both pieces separately too. How's everyone doing? How are your mummies coming along? Good. All right, I have one more left. And I just used up all my dough too, which is perfect. All right. Is anyone still wrapping? I see some thumbs ups. Let's see your mummies. Here, look, these are mine right here. I think they came out pretty good. Anyone else want to show theirs? Awesome, Caitlin. Oh, look, those look great. Everyone did so good. Wow. These mummies are awesome. Is everyone ready to do our last step? Thumbs up if you are. All right. I think we are all good. So the last thing we're going to do is just brush these with some egg. So then that way, when they cook in the oven, the dough gets nice and golden brown. So we're just first going to crack our egg into a bowl. And I've known we've done this many times in class, but you want to do it as if you're knocking on a door. So hard enough to knock, but not too hard that it's going to go all over your cutting board. And then you just separate each side. Perfect. And then using a whisk or a small fork, whatever you have, just whisk that egg until all the yolk and the white are combined. Just like that. Does everyone have their egg all whisked? Thumbs up if you're ready. I see 2. I see 3. 4. Okay, perfect. So then if you happen to have any form of a pastry brush in your house, this is perfect for that. If not, you can just take a spoon and use that too. If you're using a brush, just dab it in the egg, and then you're going to take it and just brush it over each pepper. Just making sure you get that dough coated in the egg wash. And then, like I said, this is going to make the dough puff and be a nice crispy brown when they're all done in the oven. And if anyone does not have a pastry brush and is using a spoon, you can literally just grab a little spoonful like that and just pour it over the top and rub it around with the back of the spoon. Very simple. Just like that. So you want to make sure each of your 10 peppers has a good amount of egg wash on it. You'll probably have some egg left over in the bowl. You can cook it if you want, if you're hungry. Otherwise, you can just discard it. You don't have to use the whole thing, just as long as every pepper is covered. Just like that. Perfect. All right, does everyone have all of their peppers coated? See, Lowe's working, you're doing a great job. Ariel's all set. Okay, good. It looks like everyone's all ready. Okay, so then the last thing that you're going to do is you're going to put these in the oven and you're going to set a timer for We're gonna start with 8 minutes. So we're just gonna put these in the oven now. Make sure you grab your oven mitts as well, and then we're gonna set a timer for 8 minutes. After the 8 minutes goes off, just give them a look and see how they're doing. When I tested this, I found 9 minutes was the perfect time. So I did 1 more minute afterwards and they were perfect golden brown. So just give a look after the 8 minutes, and they could need anywhere from 1 to 2 more minutes based on, it just varies by oven. So once you do that, you'll take them out of the oven carefully. And then you have to be very careful because you need to do these while they're still hot. You'll take your candy eyes and you'll take 2 or 1 per pepper, whatever you want. And you just remember that space that we left for on each pepper. You're going to take your eyes and you're going to press them into the filling that's exposed carefully because it will be hot. And then your mummies will be complete. And that is everything for this recipe. I hope everyone had fun today. I hope you guys like your peppers. Eat them today, eat them tomorrow for Halloween. That would be perfect as they're festive. Is anyone going trick-or-treating tomorrow? Yeah, that's the best. I hope you guys all have fun tomorrow. Does anyone have any questions before we log off for today? No? Okay, perfect. So like I said, you guys will get an email either later today or tomorrow that will have the recording attached to that as well as all other links from us. But other than that, happy Sunday, happy Halloween. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Okay, thanks for coming, guys. I'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.